Hi, I'm Cleave Law.
I'm Nina, Law.
And we're sitting inside of our green dream home.
Established July 31st, 2018. That's when we got our certificate of occupancy. Yeah.
And we built this home from the ground up. It's not a remodel or anything like that. We first started thinking about living green when we actually lived next door. Every improvement we made to that house, we kept green thinking in mind. So for instance, we were one of the first houses in the neighborhood to have solar panels, a significant solar panel array on the roof. A lot of different things that we did in remodeling that house that we tried to incorporate green thinking. And then when we said we were going to build the house that we were going to live in for the rest of our lives, hence our dream home, we said we wanted it to be as green as possible, not just in living in it, but also in the construction.
Yeah, and additionally we have, to answer the issue, we've been thinking about it for many years, and I don't know how long that Ed Begley show has been on, but I mean, it's been a long time. Yeah, so.
Yeah, there was no question that when we built this house that it was going to incorporate as many green features, if you will, but green thinking as possible.
So why would we want to live green? It's the right thing to do. It's morally the right thing to do. I mean, we're wrecking our planet, and you got to start somewhere. So.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we said years ago, again in our former house, was we need to live as sustainably as possible, and if we can afford to do it, we'll do it. And so that's what we've done.
Well, the benefits with respect to living green is moral. I mean, we might or might not break even eventually with our solar panels. Probably will. You know, it'll be cheaper in the long run for us to have that electricity, but that's not the primary focus for us. So it's not necessarily monetary, but the benefits are it's right.
Yeah, I think with respect to the benefits of what we've done with this house, it makes it easier for us to live as sustainably as possible. You know, for instance, the heating and cooling system in the house is a heat pump mini split system. And so it's much easier for us just to heat the portions of the house that we're in. For instance, right now in the winter, or last summer when we were living here, again, cooling only the rooms we're in, rather than having a system that we try to manage manually to use as little electricity as possible. The new system in the house makes it much easier for us. Living green, it hasn't so much changed our lives as much as it's what we've been wanting to do, and so building this house has helped facilitate living that lifestyle. You know, our electricity bill is low because of the solar panels and the storage battery we have in the house, but I think it's more about this house helping facilitate the lifestyle that we want to live.
Yeah, and I'd say it's kind of been incremental, so I can't say I've noticed anything in particular that's different about my life. So it's the same.
Again, it's because we did a lot of things in this house that we were having, if you will, to do manually in our previous house. Now things are done more automatically. For instance, this is also got some smart features, and so turning lights on and off, it just happens automatically. There's no more forgetting that you left a light on all night or things like that. So the house turns lights on and off to a schedule, and then we can also even do things remotely, you know, through a smartphone.
Yeah, and the difference between living in our other house to this one we built specifically for what we wanted, and it's a new house. I think that's just separate and apart from our aim of having it be green?
The first major thing that we did for living green was in our old house a little over 10 years ago, putting solar panels on the roof. That was the first big thing.
Yeah, and also we had the first generation of Priuses, early adopters.
Yeah, oh, actually, yeah, that was before the solar panels, that's right. The first Priuses, Prii that came into the United States, we had that little sedan thing, and we've always had we've had every generation of Prius except for the latest, so we're on our fourth Prius. One of the green projects in this house is this countertop. It's quartz, and so a lot of people say, well, you get quartz countertops anywhere, and you can. But specifically, we bought this countertop because it's made in the United States, and that's got multiple benefits of being made in the United States, but it's also about transportation and minimizing the carbon footprint of getting this slab from the manufacturer to this house in California.
Yeah, because like Caesar stone is made in Italy. And
Silestone
from
is
China?
No, is from Israel.
Israel.
So they're made. All of the quartzes except for Cambria quartz,
Which this is.
which is a plug for Cambria quartz, I guess.
We like it.
Right, is made out of the United States. So we specifically bought the brand that was made in the U.S. And one of the reasons was to minimize carbon footprint for transportation.
So other examples of green projects in the household. We have solar panels, and Cleve was talking about the mini split system in each room that heats and cools each room separately. We have reclaimed maple flooring upstairs. We couldn't afford reclaimed wood for our cabinetry because it was prohibitively expensive. It was more than virgin wood and more than the fake wood that we ended up with.
But the floors on the first floor are concrete, again minimizing the amount of material used to build the house.
And we have super low flow showers, which were a Kickstarter campaign. It has caused us some minor issues.
Every appliance in the kitchen except for the flat top is Energy Star rated. So, we made a lot of very conscious decisions on what we put in the house.
Wherever we could.
Yeah, wherever we could, and made sure that it all worked together. And then the basic construction of the house is steel, and that's the steel that's used in the house is 30% recycled by content. And then we also have the styrofoam insulation is partially recycled material, as well as some of the other insulation in the house that we had to patch in is recycled denim.
Yeah.
So all told, everything we did, we thought about using recycled or reclaimed materials as much as possible during the construction phase, and then things that we did to also make the house as energy efficient as possible. I don't know if you can see these pendant lights here, but these are actually made from reclaimed wine barrel stays. So they're upcycled light fixtures.
Sculptural element. We have some requirements by the city. We ended up with rain barrels, 6 of them, which collects the drainage from the roof. And we have a rain garden, which is now a dry riverbed, but when it rains, and we're expecting some tomorrow, it's going to puddle up and then percolate down into the ground versus out into the ocean with the pollutants. So.
Really, the house itself, the siding, it's stucco and siding. The siding is made by Burrell, and it's reclaimed, recycled fly ash, 80% by content. So there's quite a bit of recycled material there's no grass. We did mulch and California native plants. All of them are drought tolerant. All of the irrigation outside is drip irrigation. My understanding is once the plants have really matured in place, which takes the better part of a year, we'll only have to water once a month. So, again, everything we're trying to do, and, it was kind of, yes, we wanted it to be green, and I know a lot of people like the look of a lawn around a house, but we tried to also just make it as aesthetically pleasing as possible, too. And we've so far gotten compliments from the neighbors.
We've
on
gone
how
to a
the
number
house looks.
of lawn to garden programs that the city has put on where they show people, invite you to their property, they give you a list to map, and you go and see what other people have done. And so we kind of had a sense of what we liked and didn't like. One of the problems I saw was that people pick some plants and put it in, and next thing you know, because it's California, they're just overrun the yard. So I didn't like that, and hopefully ours won't overrun the place. So it's kind of more minimal. That's just my preference and our preference.
Right.
Rocks and minimal plants.
If you want to start living green, there's so many simple things you can do. As I mentioned earlier, where we used to live, we did a lot of things manually in terms of adjusting thermostats, as an example, turning lights on and off, making sure that they were off appropriately. But so all the kinds of things that, sound kind of trivial, but they add up, recycling. And then if you are doing any kind of a remodel or improvement to your house, think about the materials that you're using. If you can use reclaimed or recycled materials, that's kind of on trend now anyway, to sort of the rustic look that people like. There's a lot of reclaimed furniture you can buy. A lot of the furniture in this house that we've purchased is made from reclaimed wood, as an example. So there's a lot of things you can do incrementally, as Nina was saying earlier, to start living more green.
Yeah, we have it's very subtle, but a couple of cutting boards that are bamboo, and it's just little choices that you can start to make, and then it's consciousness raising. You realize, oh, well, I could choose this or this, or not ask for that straw when you're in the restaurant, or try to bring your own utensils. We have these bamboo utensils that we can bring instead of using plastic cutlery at restaurants. But just little tiny things that you think about, hopefully makes a difference when it's everybody doing it.
Right.
Not just us, but.
Right. Make sure you buy Energy Star appliances when you go shopping for new appliances. Those kinds of things.
Some things are affordable for living green, and some are not. Like I referred to about our choice of cabinetry was prohibitively expensive to use reclaimed wood, so that was just out. But other things, like the solar panels, ultimately will probably turn us a profit, although that's not necessarily our goal. But
Yeah.
So some things are, some aren't, just like any other choices you can make.
Yeah, we haven't, if you will, done a tally and done a return on investment calculation. It really is, as Nina just said, about affordability. So, our feeling is if we can afford to do it, then we'll do it. And if we can't, then we won't. But for the most part, you can. It's affordable compared to most other things that you can do. I'll go back to appliances. Energy Star appliances are not any more expensive than non-Energy Star appliances. But you have to, look at the labels and make those kinds of choices.
One thing about living green, it's easy. It's just a question of trying to be aware of things and choosing, and again, cost becomes a factor, and if it's not possible, you don't have to.
Yeah.
But it's not hard.
Yeah, I think people don't know what to ask necessarily, and I mean, for us it was seeing, some programs on television, doing reading and research on the internet and books, but it really is. I think the thing that people don't realize is how easy it is to get started. It's really as simple as making certain choices, and again, if the choice doesn't fit really your lifestyle, then that's a decision you make. But more often than not, it's not hard. It's just making the choice. Living green and going into the future for us is just really about continuing to make choices, use technology wisely. That people talk about greenwashing and oh yeah, I bought this green product and so now I'm living green. And it's really more about making the right kinds of choices. And that's what we're going to continue to try to do with this house. We have pre-plumbed the house for gray water. But we didn't put the actual gray water system in. So we'll be watching that technology and what we can do with that and how it can help reduce our water use even further than what we've done already.
I would say, first of all, with respect to this house and the choices we made, we're thrilled. We're so happy in this house. It's worked out beyond our expectations. So the goal was to be green, and it's awesome. Second of all, we don't want to stop. We have to continue our efforts. We were talking about packaging the other day. For example, like we buy these cheeses and they're in all these plastic things, and that's horrible. So we decided maybe we could get blocks of cheeses, and that would cut down on. So you can't rest.
Yeah,
it's continuing effort. But what we've done so far, we're thrilled.
Yeah. So, and that's the kind of thing is you just got to keep looking at what you're doing, and sometimes it means looking in the garbage can and saying, wow, there's plastic in there. How do I not have that plastic sitting in my garbage can? But we'll continue doing all of those kinds of things and making small improvements to the house as necessary. But it's, as Nina said, it's working out better than we expected, so I think it'll be good for a while.
Mm-hmm. Forever.
Yeah.